We're going to configure inner VLAN routing on our layer 3 Meraki switch so that my PC1 can ping PC2 and reach the internet. The PCs and all of the switch ports have already been configured appropriately. All we need to do is configure our VLAN interfaces. We're going to need an interface on our L3 switch for VLAN 10, 20, and for our transit VLAN 30. VLAN interfaces, or SVIs, are created on the switch routing and DHCP page. We don't have any VLAN interfaces created yet, so we need to choose Create Interface. We need to choose the switch that we want to create the interface on. I've already named this switch L3 switch, and this is the one that we want. We need to give our interface a name. We'll do the first one. We'll call this data, and it's VLAN 10. And our subnet is 192.168.10.0/24. And our interface IP is 192.168.10.1. And it's asking for a default gateway only because this is our very first VLAN interface. One of the requirements to enable routing is to create a default route. So when we put in a default gateway and we click Save, after we're done here, it will use that to create a default route for us, and then after that it won't ask us for a default gateway again. So our default gateway here is going to be the MX appliance upstream on our transit VLAN, and its IP address is 192.168.30.1. So that's going to be my gateway. I'll type that in, and we'll click Save, and we get an error. The next hop is not contained in a local subnet. So what it's saying is that the switch doesn't know about 192.168.30 yet. It doesn't consider that to be a directly connected subnet because it doesn't have a VLAN interface on it yet. So this is very important to understand. When you're creating SVIs, you always need to start with the VLAN that your default gateway is on. So we'll redo this. And we're going to start with our transit VLAN, or in other words, the VLAN that our switch uses to reach the upstream MX appliance. So VLAN 30, and the subnet this time is going to be 192.168.30.0/24. And interface IP is going to be 192.168.30.2. We're just using the second usable address in this subnet. And our default gateway is the MX's IP of 192.168.30.1. We'll click Save. Now you could click Save and add another, but I want to show you that default route first. And it takes us back to the routing and DHCP page. And now you can see we have our new VLAN interface for VLAN 30 with an IP of 192.168.30.2. And down here is that default route we were talking about. Dashboard created a default route for us with a subnet of all zeros and a next hop IP of our MX appliance on VLAN 30. Now we're ready to go ahead and add our other two VLAN interfaces. We'll click Add. And then we need to choose our switch again from the dropdown. We'll give the interface a name. This is going to be our data VLAN, VLAN 10. And our subnet is 192.168.10.0/24. Our interface IP is 192.168.10.1. And we know this because if we look back at our diagram, PC1 has its gateway set to 10.1. And that's all we need to do. So we'll save. But this time we'll choose Save and add another. This will save, and then it will take us right back to this page to add another interface. We'll do the same thing again, but for our server VLAN, VLAN 20. And our subnet is going to be 192.168.20.0/24. And our interface IP is 192.168.20.1. We'll save that. And now we're done. So all we need to do now is verify that things are working as expected. And remember, our goal was to be able to ping PC2 from PC1. And our PCs are already configured with the IP info that they need, including their gateways, which are configured to be those interface IPs that we just created. So if everything is working, we should be able to ping 192.168.20.5 from PC1. It should send that ping to its gateway, which is our layer 3 switch. It will route that traffic to PC2. PC2 will respond, and that traffic will be routed to PC1. So let's test. I'm on PC1 right now, and I'm going to ping 192.168.20.5, and we're up and running. Now we should also be able to ping out to the internet. Our MX appliance has static routes added already for VLAN 10 and 20, pointed to our switch's VLAN interface on VLAN 30, the transit VLAN. So it knows where to send that return traffic. So we'll ping 8.8.8.8 now, and it's successful again. We've successfully configured inter VLAN routing on a Meraki switch.